The incredible story of the Australian native Mary Elizabeth Donaldson, who became the Queen of Denmark, has attracted the attention of monarchy enthusiasts all over the world for many years. It might seem that the journey of a commoner to royal heights is often a difficult one. In the history of British and other European courts, we have seen examples where emotions clashed with misunderstanding. However, Mary from Australia managed not only to blend into her new family, but also to become one of the most respected and adored members of the Danish crown. Much of this was facilitated by the warm support of Queen Margrethe, who accepted her future daughter-in-law from the very beginning. Their mutual affection and close relationship became a true symbol of how the monarchy can transform and keep pace with modern times. Everything began in the year 2000, when Mary and the then Crown Prince Frederik met by chance in Sydney. The Olympic Games had gathered guests from around the world in Australia, and who would have thought that the heir to the Danish throne would be sitting at one of the tables in a bar? When Mary found out who her new acquaintance was, she did not hesitate and did not allow the title or the surrounding atmosphere to affect her naturalness and sincerity. Soon, a romantic relationship blossomed between them, even though they were separated by distance, as Australia and Denmark seemed like two entirely different worlds. Nevertheless, geography did not become an obstacle. In 2002, Mary moved to Copenhagen to be closer to her beloved and to better understand the culture of her future homeland. She decided to learn the Danish language and embrace the Lutheran faith, which held great significance in monarchical traditions. Mary's decision demonstrated her readiness for serious changes, as she was not merely marrying a prince, but truly aiming to become part of a new family and country. Queen Margrethe II received this step with enormous respect. It is known that the Danish queen has always been recognized for her democratic views and her belief that new blood can enrich and develop ancient dynastic traditions. And when the matter of marriage became serious, Margrethe personally gave her consent for the wedding, officially confirming it at a meeting of the State Council in 2003. The wedding took place in May 2004 and turned into one of the most memorable celebrations at the palace. The newlyweds exchanged vows in the Copenhagen Cathedral, after which a lavish banquet was held at Frederiksborg Castle. In addition to the ceremonial splendor, the celebration was marked by another touching moment, when Queen Margrethe delivered a speech in which she emphasized how delighted she was to welcome Mary into the family. She noted that her daughter-in-law had charmed the Danes with her openness, gentleness, and inner strength. In her solemn address, the Queen switched to the English language, addressing Mary's father to assure him that in Denmark, Mary would never be alone. In other words, the Queen immediately made it clear that she was taking the newly minted princess under her wing. Gradually, Mary assumed the role of princess, and later of queen, repeatedly demonstrating an amazing ability to adapt. She not only mastered the Danish language, but also immersed herself in local customs, managing to maintain her individuality at the same time. Many observed that Mary, who had grown up in an entirely different hemisphere, brought a light energy to the royal family and a sincere desire to be closer to the people. Queen Margrethe II repeatedly expressed admiration and pride for her daughter-in-law, calling her the pride of Denmark and emphasizing that Mary was always ready to support important initiatives and work for the good of the country with admirable enthusiasm. Of course, in any family, especially in a royal one, there are difficult moments. Many remember that in 2022, Queen Margrethe decided to narrow the circle of the royal family by reducing the number of princes and princesses with official status, leaving the titles only to those who directly belonged to the line of succession. This decision caused a wide resonance in the media and public discussions, and yet Princess Mary, who was not yet queen at the time, supported the queen by noting that any changes come with difficulty, but that does not mean they are wrong. With her calm comment, she demonstrated unity with Margrethe, and confirmed that she was ready for further changes if they were needed for her own children. This open and warm support from Mary perfectly illustrated their relationship, as one only had to look at how the two of them appeared together at official events and royal outings. They often walked side by side, exchanging smiles and knowing looks. One such touching episode was remembered by photographers when Queen Margrethe attempted to kiss Mary on the cheek. However, due to her large hat, she was unable to do so. They had to laugh off this awkward moment in front of the public as Margrethe kissed her hand and carefully placed it on her daughter-in-law's cheek, causing genuine tenderness among the onlookers. In addition to her traditional royal duties, Margrethe II has always been known for her creative hobbies. She loves decoupage, cutting out illustrations and catalogs, creating collages, and using them to decorate furniture and accessories. However, one of the most striking facets of their touching relationship was the generous gifts that Queen Margrethe presented to Mary on significant occasions. From the very beginning of her journey in the palace, Mary received many pieces of jewelry from the Queen's personal collection. For example, on the occasion of her engagement, Mary was given a golden cuff bracelet with pearls that had once belonged to Margrethe's mother. A year later, Margrethe and her husband, Prince Henrik, gave the future daughter-in-law a diamond diadem, which she wore at the wedding. And in 2005, after the birth of Mary's first child, Prince Christian, the Queen presented her with her favorite sapphire brooch known as connaught. In 2022, without any official reason, Mary received from Margrethe an exquisite set featuring turquoise and diamonds. This continuous chain of gifts not only showcased the luxury of the royal family, but also the Queen's sincere affection for her daughter-in-law. At the end of 2023, the Queen suddenly announced her abdication, relinquishing her powers in favor of her son. The official version, voiced in her New Year's address, was that Margrethe had undergone a serious operation on her spine and needed to rest, and that Denmark should move forward under the leadership of a younger generation. When Mary officially became the Queen of Denmark, she continued to demonstrate everything for which she had long been adored by her subjects: sociability, a genuine interest in charitable and cultural activities, and the ability to combine modernity with age-old traditions. Having navigated through challenges and changes, Mary managed to preserve her genuine warmth toward her mother-in-law. At times it was possible to see the two queens appearing together at events. It is difficult to imagine a more harmonious example of how different generations can coexist beautifully within one monarchy, transmitting and renewing its values. Observing Margrethe and Mary, one cannot help but notice that laughter and friendly glances are capable of overcoming any palace walls and filling royal galleries with a sense of genuine home warmth. Perhaps it is precisely this ease and warmth that lie at the foundation of the success of the Danish crown, which in recent years has come to be called one of the closest to the people. And Queen Mary, who once came from the other side of the globe, seems to have become not only an ally to Margrethe, but also her beloved daughter, whose initiatives and actions the Queen sincerely approves and supports. And if one judges by the confident manner in which Mary wears her new crown, it means that the lessons from her wise mentor have been perfectly learned. In September 2024, an unfortunate incident occurred when Queen Margrethe fell and sustained injuries. The situation was unpleasant, although it was not critical, and it nevertheless required time for recovery. At that moment, Crown Prince Frederik was away on a trip, and Mary had to assume the role of Regent of Denmark for several days. She handled all the representative duties with dignity, showing that she was ready to support both the country and the crown in any situation. At the same time, Mary did not forget to show personal attention to her mother-in-law, regularly visiting her and reassuring the Danish people that their queen was doing well and remained full of spirit. By the year 2025, Mary had fully established herself as the ruler. She now has access to a vast collection of royal jewels, and wears them with the same elegance that Queen Margrethe once displayed. It is especially symbolic that many family heirlooms are passed down from one generation to the next, preserving a shared history and strengthening family ties. But the most valuable gifts are undoubtedly not the jewels or the titles. The most important legacy that Mary inherited from Margrethe is the ability to remain true to herself and her family. The Queen of Denmark has always emphasized the importance of openness and a readiness to change with time. Mary, having experienced the journey from faraway Australia to the very heart of the Danish monarchy, has become a wonderful example of a person who was not afraid to embrace change. Of course, whether it is moving to a new country, learning a difficult language, or mastering the etiquette of a royal court, each of these is a monumental effort. However, judging by the sincere and welcoming manner in which the Danes have embraced Queen Mary, it is clear that she has succeeded brilliantly. And in these great and small successes, one can perceive the invisible hand of Queen Margrethe, who, despite her serious status, always showed kindness and wisdom in her treatment of her daughter-in-law. Perhaps it is this trust and support that largely determined the smooth transition of Mary from the status of a commoner to that of a full-fledged member of the royal family. In the end, before us stands an amazing duo, two brilliant personalities, each embodying her own era, yet interacting so harmoniously that they create an atmosphere of unity and friendship. Observing Margrethe and Mary, one cannot help but note that laughter and friendly glances are capable of overcoming any palace barriers and filling royal galleries with a sense of true familial warmth.